I have just arrived back here at my hotel room in Oslo, and something really crazy just happened. I was attacked by Antifa on the streets in Oslo. So let me tell you what happened. I think this is a really important story to let you know what happened, guys. I was in central Oslo today doing interviews and doing my job. I'm a freelance reporter. I was just doing my job, doing interviews with different political parties on the streets of Oslo, because you see there's election coming up and they're having stands on the streets of Oslo, right in central Oslo. They're having stands, there's people walking by, they're handing out the information to voters. You have everyone, you have centre right, centre left, the Communist Party is there, the Libertarian Party is there. Everyone is there basically to campaign for the election. So I was there doing interviews, and I noticed a suspicious looking guy hiding behind the trees, playing peekaboo basically, hiding behind the trees, taking pictures of me, playing peekaboo. And this guy turned out to be an Antifa. Now, if you don't know, Antifa in Oslo, they have a house called the Blitz House. And basically what happened was that it was a bunch of Antifas, and they decided to occupy a house. So they just went into the house illegally and occupied it. And they occupied it until until the Oslo city eventually just gave the house to them for free. They seized the means of housing, and somehow they got away with it. And if I'm not mistaken, these guys actually get some state funding, these Blitz guys, this Antifa group. Anyway, so this guy, he was hiding behind the trees and staring at me, taking pictures and playing peekaboo. Some of this, I think one person is standing, the guy in the red is standing behind a tree over there filming as we speak. Yeah. And I even went up to I even walked up to him and tried to say hello. And he refused to talk. He basically said almost nothing. He had the most sour face and refused to talk. So I said, okay, you have a great day. And I left him and went on my way to speak with some of the other political parties. Now, one of the political parties there actually told me that they had been harassing potential voters. Anyway, let's get to that later. Let me just tell you what happened with me. So I was doing an interview with the Libertarian Party when all of a sudden this guy who had been playing peekaboo behind the trees came up from behind and slapped me on my back, and he told me, quote, "Nazi swine, get out of Oslo, you're not welcome here," and basically told me that I should not come back. This was a threat. This was a threat to make me leave Oslo city and never come back, with the threats implying that they would attack me if I came back again. What is going on? These people are harassing and intimidating and threatening and attacking a reporter. Me. This is not democratic. Now, thankfully, I was standing in a public street at, actually, in fact, the main street in Oslo, and there were loads of people around. So, thankfully, the Antifa guy didn't physically hurt me. He did slap me on my back, but I'm pretty sure that if it had been a different, perhaps at night, there would have been a serious risk of me getting seriously hurt, because that guy, he did not have any good intentions in his eyes, for sure. Now, I had actually seen multiple other Antifa people walking around the streets there, including one guy who was carrying some kind of pipe. It seemed like it could be an iron pipe. I'm not sure, but some kind of pipe that could definitely do some damage. And he was actually following me as well earlier. So it's an interesting situation. And I had actually found some flyers put up not far from there, where they were offering cash reward for attacking people that they deemed as far right and Nazis. So they're actually Antifa in Oslo are actually putting up flyers offering cash rewards for anyone who would attack a particular person, and they had a photo of a guy who they called a Nazi, and they offered cash rewards for anyone who would attack him. That is not okay. That should actually be a criminal case. They should be arrested for that. Whoever put up that flyer should be arrested and prosecuted, because that is not okay. Violence is never okay. It's really sad to see this kind of hatred coming from the far left, and seeing this in Norway, because that is what it is. The Antifa, they claim to be about love and tolerance and inclusion. But in fact, what we're seeing here is nothing but pure hatred for anyone who has a different political opinion to them. It's really sad to see. I am working for love. I'm promoting peace, love, tolerance, and diversity for everyone. Unlike Antifa, who are really hateful, and it's really sad to see them being backed by the mainstream media, and here in Norway, them actually getting state funding. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. So make sure to share this video, because the mainstream media, they never talk about these kind of violence from the far left Antifa. In fact, in 2016, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but in 2016 there was I believe 26 or 27 far left terror attacks in Europe and 1 far right terror attack in Europe. But of course, you never heard anything about that in the mainstream media. Of course not. No. So that's why it's important for us to spread for independent journalists like me to talk about the things that the mainstream media doesn't talk about. And one of the political parties there told me, this was actually the Independence Party. What had happened was that the potential voters were walking by and getting information from this party. They were just having a normal election campaign, talking with them, handing out leaflets and so on. And this Antifa guy was hiding behind a tree, and as soon as these potential voters had left the stand, the Antifa guy jumped out and stalked the potential voters, just normal members of the public. They went after them with a camera and went right up in their face and called them Nazis and asked them, "Oh, why are you talking with these Nazis over here?" With the camera up in their face to potential voters, actually harassing them just for having talked to a political party in Norway. Now, isn't that illegal? Isn't that election meddling? Isn't that interfering in the democratic process? Imagine if a far-right person had done the same. It would be all over the mainstream media. It would be everywhere. You wouldn't hear the end of it. But here we have Antifa doing the very thing, harassing potential voters, taking pictures of them, calling them Nazis. Maybe they are, I don't know, I haven't looked into their social media, but perhaps they are putting it out on social media, uploading pictures of them and calling them names, hanging them out for just talking to a political party. Excuse me? Now, it's important to point out that you may or may not agree with this particular political party, but of course everyone has the right to free speech, and everyone has the right in a democratic society to engage in the election process and have a political party. To attack and harass people just because they are talking to a political party is a threat to democracy. That's what it is. It's a threat to democracy. They are using intimidation, harassment to achieve their political goals. And isn't that actually a form of terrorism. They're using threats and harassment and intimidation, and in some cases violence, to achieve their political goals. Antifa, they're far-left extremists, and Trump has been talking about designating them a terrorist organization. Well, they are not democratic, that's for sure. So back to what happened with me. I'm fine, I wasn't hurt, but they made it very clear that if I came back to Oslo again, they would hurt me. Now, I'm not going to be intimidated by a bunch of far-left communist extremists, but I'm going to continue doing my job, and I'm not going to let them intimidate me. So, if you agree with that, if you support my work, and please share this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Hit the thumbs up, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, that will help give this video more views. Please share this video all over social media. Get the word out, because I will not be intimidated by a bunch of Antifa extremists.